What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, as we have Jerome Powell giving a speech for today, not to mention some new developments on the charts. But just notes that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, as far as the market is going so far, we're attempting to rebound during this pre-market session, and this could be a good sign that the market's more optimistic with Jerome Powell's speech coming. Now, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know exactly what Jerome Powell is going to say, but just notes that today at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 30 minutes after the market opens, Jerome Powell is going to be giving his speech. When the guy starts giving his speech, the market's going to make some big moves. We'll see if he says anything about interest rates. If he does kind of confirm a cut or say something like that, the market can still run to the upside. So we'll see how things go. If he doesn't, if he's very ambiguous, the market could still dip. So it all depends on what this guy says. And I can't really predict everything. So I'm going to be very careful with this. Um, He's going to give us more insights, possibly on interest rates, to what extent the Fed may be looking to do their cuts, and also the state of the economy. It's going to be very, very important. So we'll see what Jerome Powell has to say. Now, when it comes to other pieces of news, we have home sales coming out as well. We'll see what that looks like. And besides that, there's some news coming out about how Uber is basically and possibly going to be partnering with GM to once again provide driverless rides. We'll see how that goes, at least for the long term. That is going to become the future, though, nonetheless, in my personal opinion. But anyways, with Jerome Powell's speech, this is going to be important. That's the main thing we're going to be looking at for now. Right now, the market thinks there's a 73.5% chance we get a 25 basis point cut. There's about a 26.5% chance we get a 50 basis point cut right now. We'll see how this shifts depending on what Jerome Powell says. And last but not least, just know that for today, we have a 1.89 puts to call ratio. The majority of positions are in puts. And then we have a 551 max pain. Will the market makers cause a pump and dump? And will we lose 556 to dip to the 553 and 551 areas? Or will we pump and try to break to all-time highs again? It all depends on what Jerome Powell, this guy, says. It depends on him. So right now, the market's trying to rebound, which is a good sign. I predicted yesterday the market would rebound, and we'd be watching to see how we end up reacting towards these highs. If SPY breaks 560, you're basically going to be looking for 562. If 562 breaks, we're looking at the high from yesterday at 563, then 565 would be our next target if that breaks. If we don't break 560, look for 558 as support, followed by 556. This is going to be critical support. If that breaks, there's going to be a bigger rug pull. To me, it's looking like SPY is going to attempt to rebound, try to push higher. And I think we might be pushing and possibly getting close to the highs we made from yesterday. It looks like it's going to try to push thanks to Jerome Powell. But then we'll see if we get a rug pull later on or not. I can't truly predict that, but it is a possibility that that will happen. For now, it looks more bullish. We're bouncing off our 20 EMA. And then we have this gap to fill up here. We might be pushing for these highs. This looks like a symmetrical structure, so it may attempt to get to these highs, which would take us close to about 565. And we'll see if we get a rug pull. But honestly, guys, it depends on what Powell says. So just the easiest way to do this is just watch your levels, see if SPY could hold above 562. I think that if we hold above 562, our next target will be 565. I think we might just break the highs of yesterday if Jerome Powell causes a pump. And if he causes a rug pull, watch for the opposite. But for now, we look like we want to pump, and we'll see how things go from there. For Nvidia, we're attempting to rebound. Make sure you look at this support right over here we're trying to hold. We're basically trying to hold 124.7. If we lose this, we'll be looking for 122. And if we break past 126.5, we'll be pushing higher. If 126.5 breaks, we're looking for basically 128. In my personal opinion, Nvidia made attempts to rebound. I think there's a good chance we do attempts to rebound. And we'll be watching to see how things end up kind of like developing, at least from here. But in my opinion, there might be an attempt to get back up to these higher levels, like 126.5, even like the 128s, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not off of that. But I think there will be some kind of rebound attempt on Nvidia, at least for the time being, with Jerome Powell's speech. Will we reject? It depends on our different levels. If we reject, look at 124.7 and 122.8 as supports. If that fails, as we're going down to 120, I presume we're going to be pushing a little bit higher from here, trying to get close to about 126.5 then 128. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get depending on Jerome Powell's speech. For Bitcoin, we may attempt to go a little bit higher towards our imbalance around 61,500. And we'll see if we get some kind of rejection or not. in my personal opinion, I think that there's a chance that we could be forming like an inverse head and shoulders. We might push a little bit higher, and then we'll be watching to see if we get a rejection, depending on what Jerome Powell says. We'll see, but there is potential for us to go a little bit higher, in my opinion. For ES, if you look at the way ES is moving, sorry, not SPX, ES, that's the most important one for now. We're attempting to rebound, and we look like we could be testing our highs from yesterday again, 56.50. That could help SPY push a little bit more. If that breaks, we'll be looking for basically the 5700 area. It is possible we push a little bit more, try to get closer to all-time highs before we see some kind of rejection again. So watch for that. On Tesla, watch support at the 212 area and 208. Right now, Tesla's attempting to push higher. We'll be looking for like 215. If 215 breaks, we're looking at 217 and 220. I presume that we might be pushing towards this trend line in this 215 area. And then we'll see if Tesla rejects or not. This depends on Jerome Powell's speech, but there might be a little bit of a push coming to Tesla, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. For NQ, we're pushing back above 19,700, which is a good sign. We'll basically be looking at resistance right here at 19,800. If that breaks, we could get very close to 20,000 again. Then we'll see if we get a rejection or not. For the QQQ, we could attempt to push. If we break past 480, I'll be looking for 482 and 485. If we don't break past 480, look for 478 as support, 475, and then 473. We're looking like we might be pushing into the 480s, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. That's going to be very, very important. For Apple, we're trying to push a little bit higher as well. I'll be looking for basically 227, 228, and then 230 as our resistance levels. If we lose 223, we turn back down. This is looking like it's trying to rebound a bit towards 228. It could go a little bit higher. Then we'll see if Jerome Powell causes a rug pull after that. But look for a little bit more upside. The IWM is also trying to push. We could be looking for 216 tomorrow. For today, we might be pushing to 216. If that breaks, look at 217 and then eventually 220 if that breaks. We could be pushing a little bit higher, but then we could reject at one of these resistance levels. So we'll see 216 for now and see what kind of reaction we get. For Coinbase, we're forming a nice wedge right here. We could push to the upper part of this range for this 205 target and just continue to consolidate. That's what's looking very probable. Unless we lose 197, that is what's looking more probable to me. If Amazon loses 175, we're dipping down to 172. And if we hold above 177, we're looking for 180. This might attempt to get closer to 180, but then we'll see if we get a rejection back down. I'm still kind of concerned about that, but it might push just for a bit, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Meta looks a little bit more bullish. It's trying to break some of these highs right here. We're going to be looking at some key levels. So we basically have this resistance near the 540 area. If that breaks, our next target is going to be all the way up here towards 544. So we'll see how high Meta could go. If 544 breaks, if the highs break, we could be looking for basically 550. But I think for the time being, we may push a little bit towards 540 and 544. Then we'll see if we get a rejection or not. For Microsoft, we're trying to rebound a bit to look for 420 as resistance. If that breaks, our next target is going to be 425. 422 and then 425. And if we lose 417, we could be dipping. I presume we're going to be pushing for 420, then eventually 422. And we'll see if we get a rejection or not. So give that some time. For Google, it's the same thing essentially. We have 166 as resistance. If we break that, we're looking for 168 and eventually the 170 area. We may push for 168 on Google, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. So give this some time and we'll see how things end up going. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a very, very awesome day. I think the market's going to try to rebound a bit thanks to Jerome Powell, but don't become too complacent, okay? Even if we do rebound, even if SPY does try to break its all-time high, that does not mean we're done with all the downside. I think there's going to be major downside coming soon, especially as we get closer to October. But just know, for the time being, it all depends on Jerome Powell, what he ends up saying. The market looks like it wants to push approaching his speech. So we'll see how it goes. And the best thing to do is just try to remain as calm, cool, and collected as possible. I thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update. Get ready for Powell's speech at 10 o'clock a.m. for some high volatility for the markets, and we'll see how things go. Thank you, and peace out.